Welcome to Bits of History. My name is Lee Pulaski, President of the Resurrection Bay Historical Society. This bit of history is about the big fire of November 1941, which destroyed a large part of the business district on 4th Avenue from the McMullen Building to Railway Avenue. To set the scene, it's November 23rd, 1941. It's 18 degrees below zero, and there's a strong north wind. Around 11:30 that evening, the owner of the Second Chance Barber Shop on 4th Avenue accidentally started a fire in his shop when he was trying to light his oil stove. He immediately called the fire department. By midnight, it appeared that the fire had been extinguished, with little damage to the shop. Early in the morning of the 24th, some overlooked hot spots that remained from the fire rekindled, and soon the building was in flames, and the wind quickly spread the fire. Every able-bodied citizen turned out to fight the fire, and soldiers from nearby Fort Raymond also responded to the emergency. When the water supply fell low, the firefighters formed a bucket brigade, and when the water main broke, water was pumped from the bay. The fire engulfed the east side of 4th Avenue, was stopped in its spread north by the concrete walls of the P.C. McMullen grocery store, the building which now houses the Russian store and Grant Electronics. And it was hoped that the fire would be stopped to the south by Washington Street. The Army firefighters decided to try and stop the flames moving south with dynamite. Local firemen warned that the explosion would just spread the fire, but they were ignored. As predicted, flaming debris flew across Washington Street and set the arcade building on fire. The residents of the arcade were able to escape, but many lost their possessions and the building burned to the ground. The dynamite and the heat from the fire broke most of the windows on the buildings on the west side of the street, but none of these buildings burned down, although some roofs and interiors were damaged. The Seward Hotel on 5th did catch fire and burn. The Anchorage Daily Times of November 24th, 1941 reported, "Fire raged through the two principal business blocks of Seward last night, doing $750,000 damage, leaving hundreds homeless and destroying most of the city's business buildings, eating establishments, and hotel accommodations. Destroyed in the blaze were the Arcade, famed landmark of the city, the Seward, Northern, and Overland hotels, Terminal Cafe, Miller's Barbershop, Cameron Cafe, Second Chance Barbershop, Alaska Shop, Hollingsworth Cleaners, Pioneer Club, Shepherd Bakery, New Model Cafe, Urbax, and Seward Drug Company. In the arcade, besides 35 apartments and 20 rooms, were the Alaska Steamship offices, Arcade Beauty Salon, Dr. L.E. Williams' office, the Alaska Transfer, and the printing plant of the Seward Gateway. Therefore, the Gateway could not put out a regular paper on the 24th, but a combined issue of the Seward Gateway and Fort Raymond's newspaper, Polaris, came out in mimeograph form. It reported that it is estimated that a total of 460 people are today without shelter. The city is left with only one restaurant and one lunchroom and one main hotel. Fire Chief Fred Kilcheski says that petty looting was kept to a minimum by the armed guards. Too much credit cannot be given the firefighters, the businessmen who are taking their losses with cheerfulness, and the uncomplaining attitude of the people forced from their homes. No serious injuries have been reported. 20 civilians and soldiers were given first aid treatment for minor injuries, and 2 were hospitalized. The homeless found temporary shelter in the Jesse Lee Home, the Oddfellows Hall, local churches, and homes. None of the railroad facilities were damaged, and the Alaska Railroad announced it would maintain its regular schedule. The shortage of building materials caused some delays in rebuilding. It wasn't long before new buildings were up, and they met the stricter building code the city had adopted to prevent future disastrous fires. Thank you for listening to the Bit of History. Remember, to learn more about Seward's interesting history, visit the Seward Museum at the corner of 3rd and Jefferson.